Music is storytelling. If your music doesn't have a story, people are not people are not going to visualize a story. They're not going to be able to see images. They're not going to be able to see colors. And if you're not doing it, an important dimension, you're basically not making it a part of your music. People should be able to see your music. They should be able to hear your music. They should be able to hum it when they go home. And when they sleep, that music should still ring. It should be part of their body. It should be part of their soul. It should be part of their brain. It should be part of their heart. And for you to do that, your music must have a story.
Dear friends, I'm delighted to introduce my guest today on Chat with Chithra. He's a Grammy-nominated sitarist, a very versatile composer, performer, and a music educator who has been a champion for the preservation of Indian classical music. He hails from a musical family from Allahabad in India, and he's regarded as one of the most foremost disciples of the legendary musician, composer, and scholar Pandit Ravi Shankar Ji. He's committed to several cross-cultural and global collaborations and has earned great reputation as a renowned musician of his generation for his contributions in making Indian music more accessible, both in appreciating and understanding them. Pandit Gaurav Mazumdar, Namaste Ji, welcome to Chat with Chithra. How are you?
Chithra ji, thank you very much for inviting me and speaking with me and speaking so wonderfully about it. I hope I deserve all what you said and continue to.
It's a great honor for me. Thank you. I want to start out by talking to you about your upbringing, your growing up years. Did you have music in your family? Tell me something about your music training as well.
Very much. I come from Allahabad, a very holy town, cultural town, especially in the early 1900s to mid 1900s to almost 1970s, 80s.
Right.
The best scholars, the best musicians, sportsmen, a lot of women writers and activists, and the whole Nehru family. Allahabad was the happening place. My family was very, very, very musical, and my uncle, my cousins, my aunts, they were all into music. So I was born into a family with music all around me, right from the time I was conceived into my mother's womb. And I have always remembered sound, sports persons, women activists, writers, they come to Allahabad. My family was the hub of all this. I always remember growing up with sound around me, beautiful music around me, wonderful people coming home, my father's students coming home. And I soaked every bit of it without realizing. Until I was in my teens, I realized how much I'm in love with music and that my life is going to be nothing but music.
Fantastic. And did you really start off with sitar to start with, or did you learn vocal or some other instrument?
As you know, Chitraji, vocal is an integral part, vocalizing. If you're writing a book, if you're wanting to do a painting, you're wanting to play the sitar, you're wanting to dance, you should be able to speak and sing. So vocal is so very important, and I'm so happy that my father, my cousins, and my uncles, they gave me full rigorous training of vocal music. So I started with singing. I sang on stage even before I was 5 years old. I sang for All India Radio. And then I switched to the violin at the request of my father, who basically chose the instrument for me. And one fine day, he went with me and bought a violin. And one of my cousins who was playing the violin, she started teaching me. And that's how I played violin for close to almost about 12 years I was playing the violin. It was around the time when I was really looking into taking music as a full-time career, is when Pandit Ravi Shankar Ji heard me in Allahabad. He had come for a concert.
So that is something, that experience is what I'm quite eager to know. When was that first calling? What was that moment? When was that moment?
That was in 1985, a very decisive moment in my life. There were two possibilities. The first one was early in 1985, he was supposed to come to Banaras, Varanasi, where he had a home, and he would come every year for several weeks and stay there and teach his disciples. It would be like a master class, very intensive, long hours.
Right.
And I went to Banaras because he had called me. And after reaching there, I was told that he's got busy with a very important project in Delhi. He will not be coming to Varanasi. As much as I was disappointed, I really didn't show it, and it didn't really affect me. And my uncle who brought me there, he was very surprised. He said, you're so young. Something like this can break somebody, can shatter somebody. But I don't see even a iota, even a small slice of frown on your face or frustration. So I didn't say anything. What can I tell him? He was much, much elder to me, a wise man. What can I? But it didn't really. Soon after, he was coming to Allahabad for a concert, and my uncle was organizing that concert. It was Silver Jubilee of his organization, Shankar.
Right.
And my uncle, he was a very renowned musician, Nalin Mazumdar. He introduced steel guitar in India. And he organized that session with me in Allahabad, he and his son, Anjan Mazumdar. So I went to my guru's. That time he was not my guru, but I went to his hotel room and I met him. I did pranam to him, and he was not feeling quite well because he had traveled, he had played in Varanasi the previous day, and he was coming back he came by road from Varanasi to Allahabad. And he told me, play very little. I just want to hear little. And, like there's a saying in India that for you to know if the rice is cooked, all you need to do is taste just one grain. Yeah. You don't need to eat the whole rice.
Absolutely.
So he said, just play little and I will figure out. I played a little, and he sat really upright on his bed. He was sitting and I was on the floor on a carpet.
Do you remember?
And then he said, no, play everything what you come.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you remember what raga?
Yes, I remember every bit of it. So I played Rag Bhairav for him.
Right.
And I played a long Alap Jod Jhala, and then I played a Jhaptal Gat, and then I played Drut Tintal. So I played everything, and he was very pleased, and he invited me later to come to Delhi, where he had got a home. And he was keeping very selected few disciples there, and he was basically, it was in the mode of the Gurukul old system where you live with your guru and you learn. So I went there and I started staying in his home, and only after I stayed with him did I hear sitar from such close quarters. Right. I heard him play, I heard his disciples, and I fell in love with the instrument. And I told myself that, this is what I want to play. So from vocal, which came naturally because it was in the family, to violin, which was chosen by my father, to sitar, which I wanted to play, I chose. I spoke to him, and luckily he agreed. And that's how my journey in sitar started. I didn't have a sitar, obviously, because I was learning the violin. He gave me his own sitar. He gave me his own mijrab, the plectrum which you wear on your finger. And on a auspicious Tuesday morning, after I spoke to him on Monday, he started my first lesson, which is basically basics, Saregama. And that's how my journey in sitar started.
Fantastic. It's so very inspiring. I'm sure even our audience would be very eager to No, because these are, these special treasured moments. Do you still have the sitar that he had given you, and do you still possess that with you?
No, it was, I don't, he didn't give it to me. It was his sitar. He allowed
Right.
me to play and start my learning. And
Right.
subsequently, I had a sitar of a student.
Oh, right,
And
right.
then very soon after, I ordered my own sitar in Calcutta, which Guruji helped. He spoke to the sitar maker in Calcutta, and I got a professional good sitar, which I have very much with me. But I possibly couldn't have the sitar on which I started my first lesson, because it was his personal sitar, which in which he was playing and he was performing.
That itself is a big blessing for you, isn't it?
It is a blessing. It is definitely a blessing, and I consider myself very, very, very lucky.
Right, I'm sure. Do you remember any moment, a memorable moment, an experience with your guru during your training years or during your concert years?
Many incidents, Chitraji. I lived with him for 7 years.
Oh.
And then after that, till 2012 December, just before he passed away, I spent close to a couple of weeks in San Diego in his home. There's such great moments. But of course, I remember my first sitting on stage with him.
Oh, right.
And that moment was so, I was nothing but a pack of nerves, and it was very, very overwhelming for me. But then also, I realized through the concert how blessed I was to be sharing the stage with him and performing with him. Absolutely. And playing for a wonderful audience. So that is one of the most memorable. Also, there were moments when I would be performing and he would be in the audience. Many times it has happened, many places in the world. And I would feel, as usual, overwhelmed and, in awe. But through the concert, I would feel so blessed that whatever little I'm able to play, he's able to witness it, he's able to see it. And hopefully he was happy and he was proud.
Yeah. Were there any instance where he came up to you after your concert and applauded?
All the concerts I remember, he stood up. Many concerts he stood up, gave a standing ovation, and all the concerts he would come backstage and meet and bless me. And I saw the happiness on his face, and that makes me very, very happy.
Certainly, isn't it? Such an amazing, and this is for life, isn't it? It's blissful.
Definitely, absolutely.
I know you are a well-established, renowned sitarist, and you've been in this field for many years now. What exactly is good music according to you?
See, this year, 2023, is exactly 30 years. We are in March, and March 1993, I started my performances on the sitar. So I'm celebrating 30 years of my performing globally.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And there is a term I'm not quite comfortable with when people speak of good music and bad music. There is no music which is good. There is no music which is bad. It is relative. Okay. Either you're playing for yourself and you like what you're playing. If you like it, it's good music. And if you're not playing, it's not good music. Or you're playing for an audience. If the audience loves it, you're giving them good music. And if the audience doesn't like it, you're not giving them good music. That's the mantra for me. I have maintained that from day one. Now, having said that, that does not mean you pick up an instrument and you play whatever you want. You need the training, you need the grammar, you need years of practicing and doing reyas and doing chilla and all kinds of, to the extent of doing like a penance, but to attain siddhi. Having said that, it's a very personal experience. You should not be sharing that with people. You cannot share that with people. You cannot. What you do on stage is totally what comes out of you after doing all that. And that's what the audience is concerned about. Yeah. They are not concerned how many hours you have practiced, how many years you have lived with your guru, or how many rags you know, or how many compositions you know, or how good are you in grammar. End of the day, the audience comes to your concert for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. If they go back home happy, you have given them good music.
Sure. Yeah.
There are always critics. There are always music students or music experts. Also, a lot of people who are very biased. They are always there. In part of the audience is them as well. So if you're a good musician, you will cater to them as well, so that their quest can be taken care of, and you have answered their questions, and you have played for them as well. So you learn how to balance it, to give an audience, maybe a member in the audience who knows nothing about sitar or nothing about music, and you make them happy. And you have somebody in the audience who really knows everything about the sitar, everything about the music. They might be better musicians than you, they might know more than you, they might have done more than what you have done, but end of the day, you need to address them as well and play something for them so that they go back happy as well, and go back, yes, it was worthwhile going to this concert.
Amazing. Yes, that's, I can't agree more with you. If you take our Indian ragas, there is a fine balance between emotion and logic, right? As a musician or as a composer, do you think you still need to balance between emotion and the logic? When I say logic, it's all the calculations that we do to present before the audience.
Definitely, definitely. It's very important. To tell you the truth, this is how it works for me. When I'm with my guru, he is my teacher. When I'm with myself, I'm the teacher. When I'm on stage, my audience is my teacher. So my audience tells me what I should be playing and how much I should be playing. What balance between logic and emotion I must keep. Sometimes I might get carried away with my emotions.
Yeah.
I feel it, but the audience might be bored. So the audience, if you're alert, if you are there, if your meditative power is very high, if you can catch on, if you can catch energy very easily, if you can catch vibrations very easily, you will be able to catch the vibrations from the audience that there is something not going okay. I might be enjoying myself like crazy on stage, playing things and totally carried away with my emotion and with my, see, my nostalgia is my nostalgia.
Sure.
My emotions are my emotions. Not everybody will relate to it. Not everybody will be able to feel it. So for me, not to get carried away with that, I have to be alert.
Yeah.
So the audience will tell you what to play, basically.
That's so beautifully put. Yeah, I think it is a great message for all the upcoming musicians also to get this advice from you and suggestion to incorporate that in their concerts or in their presentations. Fantastic. Voice is one of the most important instrument, but when you play an instrument such as violin or the sitar or any other instrument, sometimes some of the ragas are quite challenging to bring in the same effect that a human voice would be able to reproduce. So how would you approach in such scenario?
I agree that voice is our primary instrument. What voice can do, I will not agree that the instrument cannot do. But I definitely agree that what voice can do, with a lot of challenge and difficulty, you can make it happen on the instrument.
Fantastic.
And that's a journey in itself, that's not a goal. I sing and teach, I sing and play. What I sing, I try to see if I can play it on my sitar. And if I'm not able to do it, I'm not a good musician, because our primary source of knowledge is vocal music. Our primary source of expression is vocalizing whatever you're playing. Only when you are able to vocalize, only when you are able to sing in a certain way, are you able to imbibe that on the instrument.
Sure.
Now, when you are able to imbibe it, you would want to be absolutely accurate when it comes to singing and when it comes to playing. So if like a instrument like violin, I feel it's much closer to the voice. Instrument like flute, it is much closer to the voice. But when you take an instrument like sitar, where at a time, if you have a good sitar, if you are good in practice and you have really worked, our meals are maybe 4 notes long, 5 notes long maximum. Now, suppose you have a sequence where you are doing so we have 2 challenges here. One is left hand. One fret will not have all these things. Second is you pluck and the sound is gone.
Yeah.
So you need to pluck many times. Now, every time you pluck, you are adding a comma or a full stop where you don't need a comma and a full stop. So how do you do it? This is where your penance, your riyaz, your chilla comes in, that you do all this thing and whoever is listening, they will feel I'm playing it from one fret only, even though I have used other frets. And I will be playing just from one stroke, many, many, many notes. As the notes are dying, as the sound is dying, I will pluck again and you will not be able to hear it.
Beautiful.
These are all very natural in the voice. You should be able to do all this on the instrument. And if you are able to do it, I don't see a reason why we should be feeling any less as compared to the voice when it comes to playing an instrument. Fantastic. Because instrument has its own texture, own timbre, own sound, and the beauty. Nida gama pa gama dha hori khelat nandlal abir गुलाल डरत रंग सब पे कान्हा अबीर गुलाल डरत रंग सब पे कान्हा होरी खेलत नंदलाल होरी खेलत होरी खेलत होरी खेलत. All this should be you should be able to play on the instrument.
Amazing. That's so beautiful to hear you sing.
It's possible. Of course, the number of hours it takes for you to do it on the voice, on the sitar it will take much longer because you have to figure out so many things. Voice, we grow.
Yeah.
We grow humming. We grow up imitating. We grow up shouting. We grow up crying. We grow up. So all those emotions you need in your music, you grow up and you learn and you practice it even without realizing. When you're speaking, you're practicing your vocal cords. You're using your vocal cords. You are. So it is very, very important that when you pick up an instrument and with this conscious feeling within you that I want to be sounding like that, I want to be able to play this song. Simple song like if you take any song, any film song, you take, and all of a sudden you want to play it on the sitar, you will realize how difficult it is. Ye kya hua? Just simple thing like that. On the sitar, it becomes, because it's not about the mead alone, it's about the dynamics also. Ye kya hua? Kaise hua? Kab hua? Kyun hua? Jab hua, tab hua, oh chodo, ye na socho. And where you break your voice, oh chodo, ye na socho, ha ha ha, kya hua. How do you do that on the instrument? So you have to learn all those things. Your striking of the mijrab has to be of a certain kind. Your left hand has to move in a certain way. You have to find ways through your fingertips how to add those dynamics to your music.
Amazing.
Where you're able to do that. And only when you are able to do that, because end of the day, music for me is storytelling. Music is storytelling. If your music doesn't have a story, people are not going to visualize a story. They're not going to be able to see images. They're not going to be able to see colors. And if you're not doing it, an important dimension, you're basically not making it a part of your music. People should be able to see your music. They should be able to hear your music. They should be able to hum it when they go home. And when they sleep, that music should still ring. It should be part of their body. It should be part of their soul. It should be part of their brain. It should be part of their heart. And for you to do that, your music must have a story.
So beautifully put.
Like a simple thing on the voice. Tu jahan, jahan chalega, mera saya saath hoga. Tu jahan, tu jahan. Now, how do you do that on the sitar? You have to really find ways of doing it. Tu jahan. You cannot possibly do it on one fret. Tu jahan, jahan chalega, मेरा साया साथ होगा तू जहाँ जहाँ चलेगा ना 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 ना. Now the second time, na 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 na. How do you do that on the sitar? You have to know vocal. You have to imagine either the song from the movie, or maybe when you were where you were when you first heard this song.
Yeah.
Or you sang it for somebody. There is a story within you, and that story needs to be conveyed to the audience.
Beautiful.
Otherwise it will be there, but you will feel that something is missing.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. La 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 la. Da 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 da. Da da da. Na 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 re, na na na. Those morkis. Na 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 re, na na na. Na 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 re, na na na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. जिंदगी और कुछ भी नहीं, तेरी मेरी कहानी है, एक प्यार का नगमा है. Now this song can be anything. एक प्यार का नगमा है. This is the song of love.
Yeah.
This can be a love between a mother and a child. This can be two lovers. This can be your love for God. This can be love for your instrument. This can be love for something you cannot get. You're trying to get this mead and you're not able to play. There's so many various. It cannot be just unidimensional. It has to be dimensional. Your story has to be, because everybody comes to the auditorium also with their own story.
Yeah.
And this music has to fit into their story.
I mean, it's so beautifully explained. And on a lighter note, I'm curious to know, Have you ever thought of taking film music as part of your repertoire? You're superb, if I may humbly say so.
Definitely. Film music is a very interesting expression of music. It's a very interesting field. I love film music. Thanks to my dad, who on his lap guitar, he has played all these songs so beautifully, as if he would be singing these songs through his instrument. That's why I'm so keen on voice being part of your instrument, because my father played all the songs absolutely as it has been sung in the films. So a few years back, a friend of mine, he made a very amazing movie on the farmers issue in India, the problems of farmers. So a friend of mine made a movie called Shwet, White. It's basically the death of farmers due to the immense loan they take, and I did music for that. I was very happy. I compose quite a lot. I compose for collaborations. I compose for symphony orchestra. Next month, April, I'm premiering my Sitar Concerto 2 with the Grand Rapids Symphony Orchestra, Michigan. Film is one thing which I always look forward to. Provided I get a good story, I get a good producer and a good director who gives me a good story, gives me a free hand in composing what I want, how much I want, and be part of the creative process. Yes, very much. And I love film music, whether it is Indian, whether it is Western, and it always interests me, because my main thought process always is that if you shut the story, if you shut the visuals, and you just hear the music, will you be able to see the story? I always try to think that way. And if the answer is yes, the music is good.
Amazing. You are one of the senior torchbearers of your guru's teachings and his lineage. Now, he had this great vision and expertise to perceive and create phenomenal music through his groundbreaking collaborations. My question is, what would your guru think of your music and your compositions and collaborations today? With, of course, the current technology we have.
I hope he'll be happy. I hope he'll be happy with what I'm doing. I hope he'll be proud of me. I hope he'll think I'm on the right path. I hope he will be very happy that I'm doing a great balancing act between tradition and the modern. And I want to continue doing what I'm doing, because I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. And because there is such an inner connect with me and my music, I have a strong feeling that he's very happy.
Oh, beautiful. What is so very unique about your style of playing?
It's difficult for me in my own words to describe about the uniqueness of my music. I think it's for the audience to answer that question. But right. I can definitely tell you what I strive for, what I look for, what I work towards. When I perform, I make sure that I have an instrument which has got a very clean and a clear sound. I don't like to play something where the notes are not clear, the phrases are not clear. There is a rattle, there is a busyness without really being busy, and without the need of being busy. So clarity is what I look for. Clarity of sound of the instrument, clarity in my thought, clarity in of my muscles, where I'm able to take on the audience at a very high speed or a very slow speed or a medium speed. And I'm absolutely comfortable doing it. I'm not panting. I'm not, thinking, oh my God, when do I end? Or whatever. I enjoy, I go at a great speed, a very fast speed, Ati Drut. And then I enjoy being there. It's like going on top of Mount Everest and look down and feel happy rather than feel scared. So that's what I strive towards. Now, whether I'm able to do that is for the audience to answer. I don't think I should be answering that question.
It shows your humility, your humble attitude. I can understand. But I do respect, and it's a wonderful message to all the viewers. What is your advice to all the young aspiring musicians and composers who wish to follow your path?
Learn this music a lot. Learn from a guru. Have one guru. Choose your guru very carefully. And once you have chosen, be dedicated to your guru and learn, and learn. And then the time you get, you practice, and you practice. That's all I'll say. Once you do that, you're ready for just anything, whether it is performing, whether it is teaching, whether it is composing, anything you want to do. Music is it's got such different expressions. It's got such varied, colors, and you, for every occasion, for every time, for every season, for every moment, you will find a piece of music.
So true. Yeah. The Guru Shishya Parampara, which we earlier we touched based on, it is a very inevitable part of our Indian culture, especially the performing arts. Now, this is where a relationship between the Guru and the Shishya, it signifies the emotional, intellectual, and spiritual bonding that can help the student nurture along the process, their musical journey or whatever art form they are into. How strongly would you advocate this for the present generation? And is it really feasible in today's time?
Yes and no, depending where you are. You would need a good guru and you would need a good student for you to make it happen. Now, in a place, suppose, where somebody is staying, there might be a good student looking for a good guru, or there might be another place where there might be a good guru looking for a good disciple. It's destiny, it's luck, it's, in the larger scheme of things, whoever is designing everything has to make it happen. And when that happens, the guru and shishya, they come together, they come and they become one. And then that's when the magic happens. Then it's not bound in time and in age and in anything. It just happens. It happened thousands of years back. It happened in the medieval times. It's happening today as well. And it never happened in bulk. You will never have 5,000 disciples going to one guru and having the same relationship.
Yeah.
It's not possible. You'll have only a handful, select few who will be good gurus and who will have great disciples, and they'll have a bonding for life and beyond.
So true. Yeah, absolutely. With this, we come to the end of the first section of the chat. The second section is called Lighter Side of You. Finally, what is your vision going forward?
Chithra ji, over the last so many decades, I have written hundreds and hundreds of compositions. Collaborations, of course, symphony orchestra, concertos, all that is there. But I have written a lot of traditional compositions in rag. I have written compositions for sitar. I have written compositions for vocal, including the lyrics, in different styles and different genres. I have got Dhrupad compositions, I have got Khyal compositions, I have got Dadras, I have got Thumris. All this I want to record. I want to record all this. I want to have all the compositions in book form. I want to have all these compositions as a book form to be recorded, sung by me, played by me, sung by my disciples, played by my disciples, sung and played by some well-known musicians, and build a nice archive that even after I'm gone, this music is there for people to come and learn and find a guru, thanks to the great technology we have today. So they will step into the music room, they will switch on the computer, and they will see everything, hear everything, and they'll learn everything as if I'm sitting in front of them.
Amazing. I really wish it. I wish and hope and pray this comes true with the students of tomorrow. This is a legacy to leave behind, isn't it? It's a great legacy. Amazing.
Thank you.
To start with, Gaurav, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
I can explain myself in one word: music.
Oh, beautiful. What is your favorite raga? I know you will have several, but what is your most favorite raga, if I may please ask?
Yaman.
Right, okay. I don't know, there is something about that raga, believe it or not, that's even before I knew that raga was Yaman, I was so much attracted towards the raga right from a very young age. Your favorite musician besides your guru?
Mozart.
What is that one song that comes to your mind now?
अभी न जाओ छोड़कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं अभी न जाओ छोड़कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं.
Beautiful. What song, that one song one can expect when they visit your room or when they enter your room or house?
I chant Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Mahesh all the time within me and through my students. You can expect that to happen if you come and you ask me, can you sing something?
Wow.
I might sing that. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Dev, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om. Or it will be just Om. Om. Or a sound of the Tampura.
Amazing. Your favorite food?
Indian.
Your favorite holiday destination?
It's very difficult to name one, but any seaside. So I would say Cochin, Goa, Kanyakumari, San Diego.
What is that one thing you wish to see, one change that you wish to see in the current musical scenario?
I'm really longing to see the next step of what technology has to offer. It's given us this great thing called Skype and Zoom.
Yeah.
Where because I'm so busy, I travel so much, I live very far away sometimes from my disciples, and I have disciples all over the world, but I'm connected with them every day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes several times a day. And it doesn't feel that I have not seen them for, say, a couple of weeks or a month or months. It just feels that I met them yesterday. And I'm able to connect with them. I'm able to teach them. I'm able to sing for them. I'm able to practice with them. So I'm looking forward to something next. Maybe you just switch it on and then you step in. Or they just step in and they are in your world physically.
Wow.
And then they go back and something. I mean, this is just a wild thinking, but I'm really wanting to see what's next.
Interesting. Yes. So with this, we come to the end of this very, very inspiring chat. I really thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and your mindset, your approach towards music, your attitude. It is so very overwhelming and very inspiring. So I'm sure all the viewers who are going to listen and watch our chat would greatly benefit from this. I wish you all the very best and many more success in the years to come.
Very much. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaskar.